This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com. What's up, world? This is Alexander Playtime Williams of PlayTimeCares.com, giving you a full Raw recap from February 8th, 2016. This one was taking place in Seattle, Washington. You had JBL, Michael Cole, and Byron Saxton as your commentators. This was a special Raw because at about 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, sometime in the early afternoon, Daniel Bryan posted on his Twitter account or Instagram account, on one of his social media accounts, that he was retiring and he was going to give the full details of his retirement during this episode of Raw in his hometown of Seattle, Washington. So, of course, Raw started off with Daniel Bryan. A Daniel Bryan montage is showing that he was going to be on Raw and that he was going to elaborate on why he had to do a medical retirement. So, okay, so cool. They cut to the actual in-live stadium, and Stephanie McMahon is in the ring, and then she's announcing that they have a contract signing for the main event for Fastlane, and the crowd kept interrupting her because they doing all of the Daniel Bryan chants, the yes, Daniel Bryan, whatever. They just kept interrupting her. Once she started talking again, Dean Ambrose music hits, and he interrupts her. So of course she wasn't too happy about that. He comes out and say he's skipping all of that foolishness, let's just go ahead and fight. Then she was like, nah, man, it's my show. We're going to do things the way I want to do it. You're not about to fight. Roman Reigns music interrupt. He's like, oh, man. So he comes down and he's like, yeah, thanks for interrupting me, Roman, again. And Roman Reigns was like, look, you heard what the man said. Hey, you ready to fight. Let's go ahead and sign these contracts and let's fight. He was like, no, we're not doing none of that. It's my show. We're going to do this. Let me introduce the third person that's going to be in a triple threat match for Fastlane to get the chance to battle my husband, Triple H, at WrestleMania. She introduces Brock Lesnar. Of course, him and Paul Heyman come down to the ring. Dean Ambrose, he's still irritated because he got F5 last week and all that type of stuff. So, he's antsy. He's ready to go. He's ready to do the do. They all signed a contract. Stephanie was like, peace. Goes out the ring. Paul Heyman gets out the ring. Brock Lesnar grabs the contract table and, of course, smashes Roman Reigns in the corner with it. Boom. Just kind of did that. And you know what? Let me rewind that. It really was Dean Ambrose's fault. Dean Ambrose comes around the table and chest bumps Dean Ambrose. So Brock Lesnar grabs him and throws him into Roman Reigns. Since Roman Reigns in the corner, he grabs the table, smashes him with it, boom. And then he picks up Dean Ambrose and F5 him, leave out the ring. Hey, you want both of them fools. As he's coming up the ramp, Triple H comes out and he looking at him and he clapping his hands. Still not really understanding that this angle. I feel as though at Fastlane they won't even be able to actually let Brock Lesnar win because, unless this was the time when John Cena was winning entirely too much and it made me stop watching wrestling. Didn't Brock Lesnar like break Triple H arm several times? Did Triple H ever get his payback on that? Well, just let me know in the comment section. That's fine. So, of course, they cut away to the Daniel Bryan and the social media outpour that came, his responses to his medical retirement. They were showing some of that. And then they showed 2010, his NXT match with Chris Jericho, Y2J. Go look at it on the WWE Network. Then they did a recap of Lesnar pretty much beating up Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose for the contract signing. Then they cut away to Dean Ambrose telling Roman Reigns that he's going to get Brock Lesnar before the night is over. Crowd erupted with that. So now you get down to your first match. That's Kevin Owens versus Dolph Ziggler. Kevin Owens, man, the dude looks good in the ring. He was whooping Dolph Ziggler back and forth. And, he dominated early and he dominated often. It eventually got to a back and forth type match. And, Kevin Owens tried to cheat Ziggler by using his legs as leverage to get a pin on him. Well, he just kept whooping Dolph Ziggler. He finally went for the cannonball in the corner. Dolph Ziggler rolled out the way since Kevin Owens was upside down on the turnbuckle. He just grabbed his legs, pulled it over, went for the pin. When the referee landed down, Dolph Ziggler hooked his body over to that second rope, had all the leverage he want. 1, 2, 3, boom. That's a wrap. Dolph Ziggler won that match. It was actually pretty good. It was a 3 out of 5. It's an average match with some good points, and it was 3 out of 5. They did a Night of Champions 2010 match where Daniel Bryan fought The Miz for the U.S. title. Take a look at it, WWE Network. They did a cutaway to Team 3D, the Dudley Boys, go and talk to the Usos because they heard that the Usos has a table match with New Day. It was like, look, man, that's our match. What we want to do is team up with you, get them to make it the 4 of us versus the New Day. It's like, hey, if the Usos like, hey, whatever. If you down, if they approve it, we down, we'll do it. So cool. Cut away from that. Oddly enough, they did a Ryback montage of some of the stuff that he's done. I don't know what that means. Maybe he's getting a push. Who knows? The second match is Charlotte with Ric Flair versus Alicia Fox. And that was back and forth action until Charlotte was able to get that figure 8 on it right after a spear. She speared the boom, got the figure 8 on a submission victory. That pretty much went the way that you thought it was going to be. But the crowd was really into that match when Alicia Fox was actually whooping up on Charlotte. Match was actually a 3 out of 5. Average match, some good points in it. Then you went to Miz TV. That was an interesting segment because, the Miz of recent times have been interrupted on his show every time he looks to interview somebody. Whereas guess this time was Y2J. And he said before he started off with that, he wanted to showcase that that AJ Styles was actually kind of like an ingrate for not wanting to accept his tutelage like he did to Daniel Bryan. And he griping about that. Y2J interrupts him to come out and say, hey, not only am I interrupting you, but essentially, your show sucked. The highlight reel is better. Hey, staff, get all his crap out, put my stuff in the ring. So they actually did a quick switcheroo of the Miz TV and turned it into the highlight reel, lowered the television and everything. And, they pretty much showed a recap of AJ Styles actually hitting Miz several times and knocking his teeth out, at least the veneers on his teeth. Knocked him out during the match. He slowed it down and highlighted the tooth popping out his mouth and everything. That was pretty cool. Then the Miz was like, you talking about me? And showed 2 weeks ago when AJ Styles made his WWE debut on Raw. Remember that Sunday he made his debut at the Royal Rumble. Too early of an entrant, in my opinion. They should have made him come in 30th and then win the title. That'd have been much better writing. But hey, Triple H, 30th, whatever. Triple H should have been 29. AJ Styles should have been 30. Kick Triple H out the ring. But I mean, it is what it is. And the Miz was telling Y2J that he know that him beating the Great White Shark, Chris Jericho, in his debut match actually is eating away with him. Chris Jericho agreed and was like, look, that's why I want to fight him again on SmackDown for him to prove that it wasn't a fluke, that he was the better man than I. And AJ Styles comes out, and when he's coming to the ring, the Miz attacks Y2J because, of course, Y2J interrupted him. And then AJ Styles gets in the ring and attack the Miz, and they both throw the Miz out, the ring. Then they go bumping at each other, and they fight each other. And long story short, they end up busting up the Miz, and then they went their separate ways, and we'll save it for SmackDown, I guess. So they actually, from there, what did they do after Miz TV? They did I guess they showed the contract signing again, and from earlier, and then Dean Ambrose saying that he was gonna get Brock Lesnar back. So the next cutaway they did was actually the Money in the Bank from 2011, with Daniel Bryan getting the Money in the Bank contract, then showing him at the TLC pay-per-view of 2011, cashing in the Money in the Bank to become the champ. Look it up. TLC 2011 and Money in the Bank 2011. Your third match, it was Bray Wyatt versus Ryback. And then they did a Raw recap of the Wyatt family jumping Kane from 2 weeks ago. Then they did a recap of the Wyatt family jumping the Big Show 1 week ago. So obviously, if you show that, then that mean that Ryback is going to get jumped this week. I mean, it is what it is. So, Ryback started off really strong, but he was, the entire Wyatt family is out there. So, he's worried about them and concentrating on them. But one of the cool thing was that Ryback was loading up with the meathead clothesline, and when he went to clothesline him, boom, Bray Wyatt caught him in the Sister Abigail and put him down himself. Got the 1, 2, 3. You can't really say that was cheating because he was locked in on him. It is what it is. So that match was a 3 out of 5. And of course, the Wyatt family beat up Ryback. Kind of saw that one coming. So the next thing they did a cutaway of Kane and Daniel Bryan in their tag team, Team Hell No, and they did a montage of them. One of the best tag teams I've seen in a long time. And then they showed Twitter responses to Daniel Bryan's medical retirement. And then they did a cutaway of the New Day shining up a table before their tables match, and they were interviewed about whether or not they had a fourth partner. They was like, no, we don't have one yet. So then you had a cutaway of Dean Ambrose letting Roman Reigns not to interfere in the match. I mean, interfere in his thing that he's going to do with Brock Lesnar, just because he already know what Brock Lesnar's about since they had their WrestleMania match. He's like, hey, let me feel what it really is about. So your fourth match would be Titus O'Neil versus Adam Rose with all of the social outcasts, and that's back and forth action, pretty decent, you know. But of course, the number games played a part. And Adam Rose was able to get a roll up pin on him, and he hooked his shorts to win the match. Match was an average match, about a 2 out of 5. And then they did a SummerSlam um, recap of Daniel Bryan versus John Cena in 2013, WWE Network. Look at it. And then because it is Black History Month, the WWE did do a tribute by showing a whole bunch of the black wrestlers that paved the way. Of course, my favorite wrestler of all time, Junkyard Dog, was in there. And then, that guy that they call Farouk, he went by a couple of names, Ryan Simmons, Farouk. He was showcased. That was my favorite, too, that they showcased. Notice they started off with Big Cat Ernie Leg out of Grambling State University, one of the Louisiana schools. So, he's a favorite of mine as well. So after they did that, Dean Ambrose actually did come to the ring and start questioning Brock Lesnar's manhood, whether or not he was scared, stuff like that, to bring him to the ring. And Brock Lesnar came to the ring, and Dean Ambrose ran out that ring, and Brock Lesnar whooped the dog snot out of him there, put him in the ring, whooped him in the ring, F5'd him once. Dean Ambrose started crawling towards him. He wouldn't stay down, so he F5'd him again. Dean Ambrose was laying in the ring. Brock Lesnar started leaving the ring. The crowd is just going crazy. Dean Ambrose is looking up. He beckoning Brock Lesnar to come back. Brock Lesnar, he gonna oblige you. He turned back around and he heard Roman Reigns' music hit. So he started looking around for him. Roman Reigns come to the front of the ramp. Hey, Brock Lesnar ready for him. Dean Ambrose give him a between the leg shots, hit him in his beast. So, and then he kind of ran out the ring and told Roman Reigns, hey, I told you I was going to get him. Roman Reigns was like, man, you crazy. You're just getting beat up. And that was pretty much that. The fifth match was actually the Lucha Dragons. Good to see Sin Cara back because, he got injured when Big E kind of threw him to the ground. He injured his shoulder a couple of months back. Good to see him back. They versus Rusev and Alberto Del Rio with, King Barrett ringside. that wasn't even a real match. Man, the League of Nations whooped up on them boys. Shane was supposed to be really hurt because he hadn't been around in a while, but three-fourths of the nation is more than enough to beat the Lucha Dragons. Lucha Dragons showed that they really do need to have a cruiserweight division because they did show some good stuff. But Del Rio stomped in the chest to Kalisto, and that ended that match. About a 2 out of 5. Then they cut away to Goldust, trying to impress R-Truth to form the Golden Truth again outside of a Rock and Roll Museum that, purported to have Jimi Hendrix official gear, which Goldust smashed the guitar and got led away by security, police, whatever. Then they did a Raw recap of March 2014, where they did the Occupy Raw for Daniel Bryan. Look it up on the WWE Network. $9.99 a month. Then they did a Raw recap of Tamina and Naomi jumping Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch helping Sasha Banks. So the 6 matches that obviously Becky Lynch versus Tamina with Naomi and Sasha Banks as commentary. And they announced that the Fastlane match will be a tag team match between, Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks versus Tamina and Naomi. Should be a pretty decent match, actually. Back and forth action. Tamina started to dominate. Then she started to talk noise to Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks was like, "What you got?" She got off a commentary, approached her. Naomi ran around the side, whopped her in the face. Becky Lynch comes out of the ring. She starts fighting with Naomi, the referee counting. She's up to about 6 or 7. Becky Lynch runs into the ring. Tamina super kicks her. Pin victory. They both was messed up. 2 out of 5 for the match. The New Day is shown offering out a unicorn horn to some mystery person. Then they show it that it was Mark Henry. Mark Henry said he will accept if they allow him to play the trombone. Francisca #2. New Day was like, "Man, come on, Xavier, let him do it. Do it for the team." Mark Henry got on there. Being that I played trombone from New Orleans, I played trombone. I would say out of a scale of 10, he was about a 4. He has potential. Mark Henry actually does have potential to be pretty decent on the trombone. And then they say, "Okay, get the horn back." But look, let Xavier Woods do that. You need to dance. So Mark Henry started dancing. Playful thing. It was pretty good. Then they start showing social media responses to Daniel Bryan's retirement, the different news circuits, Fox News this, ESPN that, TMZ that, do. They start showing all those different things. He got a lot of worldwide attention of his retirement, hit a lot of buzz. So your 7th match was actually the New Day and Mark Henry versus Team 3D, the Dudley Boys, and the Usos. And the New Day actually started dominating because Mark Henry was in beast mode. But then Mark Henry got tired of the New Day just telling them what to do. They was being a manager. They was commentating what he should do. Yeah, the next move, do this. Oh, yeah, then do this. Do that. Mark Henry said, "Man, screw y'all. Y'all do it yourselves." And he walks out the match. So, of course, numbers wasn't in their favor. And Team 3 ended up putting Big E through a table. And while the Usos and 3D celebrating, hey, Bubba Ray clothesline one of the Usos. Devon clotheslined the other one. They put one Uso through a table, and then Devon picked up the other Uso, put it on Bubba Ray's shoulder while he was on the top rope, and they put him through a table. I was like, "Oh yes, one of the best matches I've seen in a while." Just overall, the match itself was decent. It was a 3 out of 5, but the combination of all of the factors made it really good. And so I don't want to give it a 4 out of 5 just straight up, but it was a strong 3 or a weak 4. A potentially classic match. And of course they showed the Daniel Bryan montage, and then the media coverage of Daniel Bryan retirement announcement and all that type of stuff. That's where they were showing all of this people from around the world. And Daniel Bryan comes out to the ring and the crowd explodes. They erupt the whole time, go through a variety of chants for him and things like that. It was really cool. And then Daniel Bryan explained that, within his first, I think he said 6 months of wrestling, he got 4 or 5 concussions. Say, man, that's serious. Go back and take a look at my other my other review of the Will Smith movie. You know what I'm saying? These concussions are real deal, man. And you know they don't have the luxury of pads and helmets. You know these people say wrestling is fake. No, wrestling is staged. I mean these guys actually do take some real deal hits. This is real stuff, man. That's why you have to go to school for it because you could kill yourself doing it. I don't want to have to go through the list. You can YouTube videos of wrestlers that died in ring. You know, heck, I did a that one that had that tragic one that happened in Mexico with Rey Mysterio. You know, I've talked about that one. I mean, it's a serious. Dude say he has accumulated a lot of concussions over his tenure. He's been wrestling since he was 18. Go look, take a look at his age. He said he was getting one very often. So now that he thinking about his family. He want to have kids with his wife. You know, one of them Bella twins, which got a good response from the crowd as well. He said he have to hang it up, and you know, thank you Daniel Bryan, thank you Daniel Chance. It rained down a lot, but it was one of the best retirement speeches I've heard in a long time. So, hey, thank you for sitting through this. I know it was long, but this was a good Raw. I'm loving the thumbs up. I'm loving the thumbs down. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to PlayTimeCares.com. Subscribe to me here on YouTube. Hey, let people know about it. Send it to people. Hey, tell me if I suck and all that type of stuff. You liking the beard as much as I could grow it for Daniel Bryan's retirement. I'm about to go shave this off now because it itch. I'm not about to be Goat Boy. I got a job. I can't be doing that. Playtime out.